Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics by BelleAmant. Read by Oakshadow 5. Chapter 3. The Start of Something New. Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when he lost his mother and everything he had ever known. Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when he learned that he was quirkless and became as worthless as a pile of dust. Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when everything seemed to fall apart and he could barely keep up in time to see his own downfall and demise. But Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when he made his first true friend, Hitoshi Shinzo, a boy with wild hair, violet eyes, and an interesting quirk. It had taken a week for the boy to confess what his quirk was. "You'll hate me," Shinzo had muttered, curled into himself, hiding from Izuku's worried eyes. "Why would I hate you? We're friends!" Izuku protested, then froze. "We're still friends, aren't we?" Because how could he be sure? He thought Bakugo was his friend, yet it seemed that the boy liked him less and less with each passing day. "Of course we're friends!" Shinzo cried out, eyes finally meeting Izuku's. "Then there's nothing to worry about," Izuku responded, forcing himself to smile. People needed smiles when they were scared. That's what Omid would do, right? Shinzo smiled back, but his was more watery. "Promise you won't hate me?" "Promise!" "Okay." Shinzo uncurled himself ever so slightly, eyes locked on the ground. "My quirk is called brainwashing. I can control people if they respond to me." Izuku blinked at the words, then grinned. "That's so cool, Shinzo-san!" Shinzo's eyes started up, locking with Izuku's. "It is?" "Yeah! You could use it on a villain and then go, 'Hey, turn yourself in,' and they would!" Izuku shouted, fist popping in the air with excitement. "Or you could interrogate them!" Izuku nodded to himself, proud that he'd said the right word. "Oh, I get what you mean," Shinzo cut him off, a smile darting onto his face. "You really think all of that?" "Yeah, your quirk is awesome!" And Izuku could see that Shinzo was starting to believe it. A few weeks passed since then, with Shinzo's presence quickly becoming a part of Izuku's routine. The two 4-year-olds both enjoyed hiding in the reading room, far away from the other boys. The other boys, sadly, didn't see Shinzo's quirk the same way Izuku had. "It doesn't matter," Shinzo said through his tears, curling into Izuku's side. "They're not my friends. It shouldn't matter." But it did, and Izuku knew that. Words hurt. "They don't matter," Izuku promised, hugging his one and only friend. "Their opinions don't matter. They're stupid." Shinzo snorted, the sound broken by a sob. "You never call people stupid." "Well, they are," Izuku protested, earning another laugh for his efforts. "Anyways, you're going to be a pro hero one day, and you have hundreds of people who love you and your quirk." "You think so?" "I know so." Shinzo only cried for a few more minutes after that. Izuku and Shinzo bonded quickly. How could they not? They were 2 4-year-old boys with no one to care for them but themselves. Sure, the employees were there, and Mrs. Hata tried to help, but there were too many kids and too much forced formality for the boys to feel at home. Never a home, the words would ring in his ears. Never a house, never a home. So instead of finding a home, the boys found each other, and they stuck together. It was one of those days, with the two sitting side by side in the reading room, when Shinzo said the words that would define their futures. "We're going to be heroes, right?" Shinzo asked suddenly, and Izuku stopped reading. "Of course," Izuku confirmed right away. Then he pauses. "Well, you will be." "What do you mean?" Shinzo looked at the boy with confusion swelling in his eyes. "You said you want to be a hero." "I do," Izuku agreed readily, but still he hesitated. "But I don't have a quirk." "So?" "Heroes aren't quirkless, and I am." Shinzo frowned, then declared, "That's stupid." "What?" "If there isn't a quirkless hero, why does that stop you?" "Heroes have to have quirks. It's how they get stuff done." Izuku flailed his arms, trying to make his point clear. "They all rely on their quirks. I can't rely on any quirk. I'd be useless." He flinches, even as he speaks the final word. A blonde boy whispers the words back in his ears, almost like a dream. Or merely just a memory. Shinzo frowns. "I think we can both be heroes. You just need to be stronger." The boy nodded to himself. Yeah, me too, since my quirk isn't really good for attacking. Izuku smiled, eyes watering. You really think that? Yeah, Shinzo agreed easily. If I can be a hero, you can be too. Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when he found a friend, and his friend gave him hope. But Shinzo wasn't just thinking of the distant future, and their future wasn't determined quite yet. A few days passed before Shinzo brought up the topic again. More eager than before, Shinzo asked, So, when do we start saving people? Huh? Izuku asked, once again setting down a book. When do we start saving people? Shinzo had already discarded his book, eyes staring straight at Izuku. I want to help people. Me too, Izuku agreed, but then he frowned. But we can't, not yet. And why not? His friend questioned, eyes narrowing. Well, we're still not strong. So we'll train. And we're too young. We can't do hero stuff without a license. Izuku knew this. He remembered hearing about some tough tests that heroes had to take to be allowed to help others. It sounded stupid, to be honest. Well, Shinzo huffed, throwing his hands in the air and flopping onto his back. What about the heroes who do it without recognition? Like Eraserhead, the underground hero? Izuku asked, recalling the mysterious hero. He remembered seeing a video of the man once. He had to take a test too, probably. But Shinzo only groaned and said, No, better. Better? You know, vigilance. Vigilance? Izuku stared at his friend, trying to understand. You know what I mean? They don't have the test and the license, but they beat up villains and help old ladies cross the street. Oh, you mean vigilantes? Izuku laughed, then frowned. Aren't those illegal? Shinzo laughed, a grin finally reaching his face. Yep, but, he continued, before Izuku could complain. Look at this! With excitement practically tangible, the violet-haired boy stood up and walked over to one of the bookshelves. Pulling out the dictionary, he said, I saw this the other day when I was trying to figure out what a word meant. He flipped the large book open, making his way to the word. Look, Shinzo commanded, and so Izuku did. Vigilante, a person who uses their quirk illegally to reach an end goal, usually causing harm or attacking villains. See? Illegal! Izuku complained. Only if you use your quirk, Shinzo countered, eyes lit up and wild. But you don't have one, you're all clear. The words hit Izuku hard. The young boy stared at his friend in awe, the possibilities finally feeling real. I could help people, Izuku whispered in shock. I'm quirkless, so they couldn't do anything about it. He stared with confidence, then shrunk in on himself once more. Wait, but what about you? I just claimed it was self-defense, Shinzo said easily, not looking worried in the slightest. Shinzo-san? What? If they hit me first, I can just use my quirk and make them turn themselves in? We have self-defense laws for a reason. Izuku pouted, but he had to admit, for a 4-year-old, Shinzo had a really good plan, but... We're still 4, Shinzo-san. How can they be vigilantes? Shinzo frowned, then snapped his fingers. Weapons? What? Shinzo smiled once again. We'll make weapons. You're super smart, and I'm super smart. We can figure out how to make them. We can make awesome weapons and sell the ones we don't want for money. And we can train at the same time and get strong. We'll be able to do anything together. Izuku felt his eyes widen as the pieces clicked in his head. They could be vigilantes. They could work out and get stronger, make weapons to protect themselves, and to make money. They could get out of the overcrowded orphanage and live together. Like the cool kids in some of the stories they'd read, making a life for themselves without adults to tell them what to do. And what's more, Izuku could protect people. People who heroes forgot about. People who needed saving. He could help when the heroes were too late. He could help people like his mom. The final thought clicked in his head, strengthening the tiny boy's resolve, and he looked to his friend with determination, saying the words that would lock them into their newfound goal. Let's do it! That was chapter 3 of Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics. The boys finally got a goal and they realized the loopholes of the Vigilante law. At 4 years old, by the way. How? But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this chapter, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!